Hello students, today the point of discussion is prokaryotic transcription. In our last lecture we have seen RNA polymerases, its structure and function. The main function of RNA polymerase is to synthesize a mRNA. Although as you can see here in the picture, messenger RNA, ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA and many other types of RNA can be synthesized by RNA polymerases. We will try to discuss at length the synthesis of messenger RNA molecule as a product of transcription, because as I have already mentioned that ribosomal RNA, transfer RNA and many other structures, they are stable structures. If there is one structure which is continuously synthesized, degraded, resynthesized from the same nucleotide pool, then that is mRNA. So before going in detail about the prokaryotic transcription, I would like to show you a small animation about the synthesis of mRNA molecule, how this mRNA molecule gets synthesized. Come, let's see first, and then I will show you some more slides about the molecular level of transcription. First, the animation. Let us see the mRNA synthesis or the process of transcription in the form of animation. This is to give you a fair idea of how the process takes place. Later on we will be seeing at the molecular level how this actually functions. Most of the detailings are not here, but this is to give you an imagination of the process in action. The synthesis of mRNA is called as transcription, as you know very well. That is the definition. This transcription begins when RNA polymerase enzyme recognizes and binds to the promoter region on the double-stranded DNA molecule. The region is called as promoter, binding site for RNA polymerase. A particular subunit of a messenger RNA called as a sigma factor participates in the recognition of a promoter region. This subunit of messenger RNA, this is the subunit of a messenger RNA molecule itself, and it is called as the sigma factor. Messenger RNA, why I am saying, because it is a part of the RNA polymerase. The RNA polymerase itself was some time or the other an enzyme synthesized from some another mRNA molecule. So that is a bit complex, what you can say, circularity involved in there, which you will understand if you come to MSc microbiology. So here the sigma factor is mentioned as a subunit of a messenger RNA molecule. When it is said, it is not this messenger RNA but some another messenger RNA molecule which was responsible for the synthesis of this enzyme called as RNA polymerase. Anyway, so let us come back to the topic and imagine here this subunit, which is called as sigma factor. It participates in the recognition of the promoter region. Soon after transcription is initiated, the sigma factor dissociates. RNA polymerase moves along the template strand of the DNA, synthesizing the complementary single-stranded RNA molecule. Now see here, when I say complementary, the difference between DNA polymerase and RNA polymerase is that DNA polymerase would have added thymine here, but here as you can see, the RNA polymerase molecule adds uracil. And moreover, these are the ribonucleotides and not the deoxyribonucleotides. So synthesis is in 5' to 3' direction, with the new nucleotides being added to the 3' end of the growing messenger RNA chain. This is as same as that of DNA polymerase, only the difference is that there a primer was required, here no primer is needed. Now as it moves along, you have to imagine that there is an open DNA complex formed. It's not shown here in the animation, but I'll explain it in the slides. DNA opens, mRNA is synthesized, and when the DNA opens, there are two ends. One is the front end and another is the tail end for the RNA polymerase. The front end goes on unwinding the DNA, there is a helicase molecule, and at the tail end there is a helicase closing. It's just like a dual zipper molecule. On a zip bag, if you just have two zips and simultaneously if you are moving, this will close, this is opening. You go like this will close, this will open. Just like that, two helicase molecules are acting on the DNA, and the growing messenger RNA molecule which is there on copying down the nucleotides from the DNA, this RNA polymerase as it advances along the DNA, it melts new stretches of DNA. That is, the further DNA is melted. Melting means opening, and the back side, that is the previous DNA, it allows to close. So this is the process which is not shown here, but that happens, and in the end there is termination. Now here you can see the cursor. This is the termination region. What are the features of the termination region? What types of termination are there? We will be discussing it in detail in today's lecture, but here I have just shown only one type of termination. There are two types of termination, row dependent and row independent. Here row independent type of hairpin loop of termination is shown. Now just see, it's very interesting that when the RNA polymerase reaches a specific sequence of nucleotide on the DNA called as the transcription termination region, a hair loop structure is formed in the mRNA, a hairpin loop structure. Now this structure also is resulting due to some sequence arrangements on the DNA. It's very interesting, we will see it. That results into a hairpin loop like structure, and this structure in the messenger RNA or on the messenger RNA causes the RNA polymerase and the messenger RNA to dissociate from the DNA. So as you can see here, this hairpin loop structure is responsible for dissociation of the mRNA RNA polymerase from the DNA. DNA is intact, nothing has happened, only a copy is, it's just like a Xerox machine. One Xerox copy of in the form of a RNA is synthesized from the DNA. Having understood this, now you should have a fair idea that the whole process is divided into three sections. One is initiation at the promoter, elongation, that is the open promoter complex, and then elongation, addition of nucleotides, and termination. Initiation, elongation, and termination. So come, let's see all this at the molecular level, what happens really, the fine details of the process. So I hope that this animation gave you a fair idea of how basically the process of transcription takes place. Now let us see the gene expression in detail. Gene expression is the name given for protein synthesis. When you say gene expression, it is synonymous for protein synthesis. All life processes, they depend upon the production of gene products present in the cells and tissues, in bacteria, in prokaryote cells. So the fundamental process for life, for sustaining the metabolic activities, is protein synthesis, and that is gene expression. So the central dogma of molecular biology is DNA, when it undergoes a process called as transcription by RNA polymerase, it forms RNA. Different types of RNAs are there. When this mRNA is translated into a product that forms amino acid chain, polypeptide, and this polypeptide by specific folding techniques results into a protein. So synthesis of RNA using a DNA template, as you saw in the animation, is known as transcription. This is the definition of transcription. Only one of the DNA strand template is transcribed employing RNA polymerase. There are two DNA strands. When it opens, either this strand or this strand, both have the potential, but there is a specific direction. If that 5' to 3' direction is like this on this strand will be like this. But one thing is there, you should remember, simultaneous translation does not take place. If there is translation on one strand, the other strand can be transcribed, but not at that same time. Once this is over, this can form another gene. So only one DNA strand, that is DNA template, is employed for transcription. The information flow is, as you saw here in the picture, that is from RNA to protein, DNA to RNA, RNA to protein, and this is called as the central dogma of protein synthesis. We have seen in our last lecture of structure of RNA polymerase that there are four major types of RNA molecules which are products of transcription process, and these are messenger RNA, transferryl RNA, ribosomal RNA, and small nuclear RNA. The small nuclear RNA, as you can see, these are used for combining the proteins to form complexes, and they are especially in the eukaryotic RNA processing. So this is not of much use in prokaryotes. Messenger RNA is the main molecule, the messenger molecule, which has the information encoded for which type of protein, which type of enzyme, the main messenger, main information. Transfer RNA is just like a postman who is just bringing the amino acids from the amino acid pool at the site of protein synthesis, that is at ribosomes. So this is a very important molecule, also called as the adapter molecule, which shuttles the amino acids from the nucleotide pool to ribosomes, and this is the main mediator of protein synthesis. And ribosomal RNA or the rRNA, they are the proteins that are site of protein synthesis, which allows all this combination to take place and then join the two amino acids with a polypeptide chain. So this is the types of RNA. With all these types, I would like to emphasize here that tRNA, rRNA and snRNAs, these are molecules which are somewhat stable in the cell. So they have been created during evolution and their number up to a great extent remains constant. But this is not the case with messenger RNA. Messenger RNA is a template which is temporarily produced during protein synthesis. Once the job is over, it is degraded and maintained as free nucleotides in the nucleotide pool. So whenever there is a option of answering what is the product of transcription, and if I have messenger RNA, tRNA, mRNA and rRNA, the obvious choice, the first choice, there can be a debate, but the first choice if you have to answer is messenger RNA. The answer is its dynamic nature. So how does this transcription process actually begin, and what and how it is regulated? Transcription process is controlled by regulatory elements associated with each gene. There is unwinding of the DNA, which is done with the help of RNA polymerase in bacteria and by a combination of RNA polymerase and many other proteins called as enhancer proteins in eukaryotes. Eukaryotic transcription process is totally different from prokaryotic transcription process, and even the post-processing of transcription is totally different. It's very interesting. Those students who aspire for competitive examinations should not just leave this lecture as it is, but go an extra mile to study the eukaryotic transcription process also. My today's discussion will only be focusing on prokaryotic transcription. So in that, the unwinding is accomplished with help of RNA polymerase. There are specific sequences on the DNA. These are called as consequence sequence. I'll come to that, but here just you can see the cursor, the DNA unwinds some at the point of joining of the RNA polymerase, which is called as promoter, some bases later, upstream or downstream. Upstream genes, they are responsible for opening. So RNA polymerization starts not at the site immediately of addition of RNA polymerase, but some bases after that. This is in 5' to 3' direction and is catalyzed by the enzyme RNA polymerase. So this RNA here you can see transcription factors. These transcription factors are needed in eukaryotes. Mostly some of the higher prokaryotes may also show this, but not essential. RNA polymerase acts in a similar function as that of DNA polymerase, that is, assembling of nucleotides is the main function. Only in DNA polymerization double-stranded DNA is formed. In RNA polymerization single-stranded polymerization is there. DNA replication takes place in the S phase in eukaryotes. That is called as the active phase of interphase, whereas log phase in prokaryotes. However, the transcription factors which are there, they are not needed in prokaryotes. Transcription of RNA occurs throughout the cell cycle in bacteria. The precursors are ribonucleotides. DNA polymerase, the precursors are the deoxyribonucleotides. RNA polymerase does not require any primer. Primer is not needed because it is synthesizing RNA, whereas DNA polymerase requires a short RNA primer to initiate the whole process. Here uracil is replaced or inserted instead of thymine whenever adenine is encountered. That is one of the major differences of RNA polymerase. So you can see in this picture, transcription and replication are shown, and in the table you can pause and take a greater look for more depth. I will just summarize this. I have already said transcription takes place synthesizing single stranded of RNA using deoxyribonucleotides, whereas replication is a more complex process where double stranded DNA is formed and deoxyribonucleotides are needed. So DNA from DNA, two template strands are needed. DNA synthesizing RNA, only one template strand is needed. Primer is not needed during DNA replication, whereas RNA transcription, in RNA transcription no primer is needed, whereas in DNA replication primer is needed. DNA replication proofreading is there. RNA transcription, in prokaryotes it is believed that there is no transcription but a small exonuclease activity is there. If you recall my last lecture of RNA polymerase enzyme structure, I had mentioned that it does not undergo a proofreading process. It is not involved in error correction, but that is partially true. As you go to the molecular level, you can understand that there is a small exonuclease activity which helps in proofreading. The precursors for DNA replication are deoxyribonucleotide triphosphates, whereas for RNA replication it is nucleotide triphosphate. The main enzyme, obviously, DNA replication, DNA polymerase, transcription, RNA polymerase, and DNA replication is a bidirectional process, whereas RNA transcription is a unidirectional process. Transcription, as in every stage of genomic synthesis, whether that is formation of a DNA by DNA replication, RNA by transcription, or proteins by translation, it is divided into 3 steps. So transcription is also divided into 3 steps, same 3 steps: initiation, elongation, and termination. So there is a promoter region which initiates, there is a RNA coding region in the middle which will be responsible for elongation, and there will be a terminator sequence in the end which is responsible for termination of the process of transcription. So elongation is highly conserved process. Initiation and termination are different in eukaryotes and prokaryotes, but my main point of discussion here will be prokaryotes. A typical prokaryotic gene, it has 3 regions as I have just mentioned: a promoter sequence which will attract the RNA polymerase enzyme and it initiates the transcription. A transcribed sequence is the RNA coding sequence. Of course, this is the structure shown here is DNA. See, this is DNA. So it has a RNA coding sequence shown in green, and this sequence is also called as a reading frame, which results into a mRNA. The terminator region here, this is the transcription termination site, and it is the downstream genes where the RNA polymerase binds. Left to that, which is not transcribed, is called as upstream genes, and the region of transcription is called as downstream genes. So the terminator region specifies the downstream region where transcription ends. The initiation of transcription in E. coli is all about RNA polymerase. The points which I will mention here, you may have already heard these points in the polymerization, the RNA polymerase structure, and that is, as you know very well, the Rho factor which confers the promoter specific binding to the DNA sequence, sigma factor which confers the promoter specific binding to the DNA sequence, and the RNA polymerase, if did not have a sigma factor. In my this lecture few minutes earlier, I told this sigma factor is specific to messenger RNA, mRNA specific sigma factor. Why that was mentioned is because the sigma factor, it confers a promoter specific binding on the DNA to the RNA polymerase. Otherwise polymerase would randomly bind anywhere. So that is not happening. Sigma factor recognizes the promoter region. E. coli has more than one type of sigma factors which can be produced in response to the different conditions. As condition changes, the sigma factor binding changes. Okay, so I have already mentioned this in the structure of RNA polymerase. So this regulates the promoter which is recognized. Okay, so this factor, the most common factor is factor 70, which recognizes the exact consensus sequences. What are these consensus sequence? I will explain. And in eukaryotes, activators and repressors are needed which tweak the expression of the genes. So this is how initiation takes place. Initiation of transcription requires that the RNA polymerase holoenzyme, only one type in bacteria, that is the holoenzyme, core enzyme, which binds with, we have seen all these things, binds to the promoter of the DNA, and the promoters are found at -35 and -10 base pairs upstream from the first base which will be transcribed in the mRNA. So these are called as consensus sequences. -35 consensus is very specific. It contains TTGACA. TTGACA is the 35 base pair consensus, and 10 base pair consensus is TATAT, Tata region. These are also called as Pribnow boxes. In bacteria, these are called as Pribnow boxes because of the Tata region. This is the region where RNA polymerase binds on the DNA. Promoters, they are often deviated away from this consensus sequence. They are not on the same region on the DNA. Okay, and as you know very well, the RNA polymerase holoenzyme is made up of a core enzyme and a sigma factor, and this sigma factor is the one which associates and recognizes the promoter region on the DNA. So this RNA polymerase holoenzyme binds to the promoter in two steps. You can see this is the initiation process where the RNA polymerase holoenzyme first recognizes the promoter at the -35 region and binds to the full promoter. So here there is -35 region and here there is -10 region. So -35 and -10 region, they are recognized first. Then as initiation continues, the RNA polymerase binds more tightly to the promoter at the 10 base pair region, that is the Tata region, and this is accompanied by a local unwinding of the DNA. DNA opens, and at this point RNA polymerase is correctly oriented to begin transcription at +1. So first it loosely binds at the 35 base pair consensus of the DNA. This is called as a closed promoter. And secondly, then it binds tightly to the 10 base pair consensus sequence, which opens the DNA. It is called as a open promoter complex. So 35 closed promoter and 10 it is a open promoter complex. Once it encounters the open promoter complex, transcription proceeds and the sigma factor dissociates from the core enzyme, as you saw in the animation, and about 8 nucleotides are added in the beginning from the nucleotide pool. As the RNA polymerase core enzyme continues to add more and more nucleotide triphosphates, the growing chain of the mRNA exits through the exit channel of the RNA polymerase, and the DNA helix reforms, displacing the RNA transcript. As you can see here in the second picture, as you can see in the first also, there is a mRNA being synthesized, and as it is synthesized, as it moves on, opening and closing of the DNA, just like the zipper molecule, it takes place. Transcription, this is called as a transcription bubble, and transcription bubble moves downstream across the gene at around 30 to 50 nucleotides per second. We have seen in phages it is much more. RNA polymerase not only initiates RNA transcription, it also guides nucleotides into position. It places each nucleotide into correct position, and it is generally assumed that the RNA polymerase, there is no need to proofread. It doesn't proofread. There are mistakes, and these mistakes result into mutation. But it has intrinsic proofreading and replacement capabilities, and this results into a function called as error correction. The enzyme, it moves back one or more nucleotides. It is not that efficient as DNA polymerase proofreading enzyme, but recently there are discoveries of this RNA polymerase having some small proofreading like activities, and it is called as the 3' to 5' exonuclease activity. As you can see, this A, it is a wrongly added base pair on the mRNA, so it moves one base pair back, it removes that and then adds the correct nucleotide, one or few nucleotides only, because it itself has to correct it. and then it moves, addition of a correct base takes place and it moves forward. So this is how elongation takes place, and elongation goes on till the termination point reaches. Termination is taking place at the terminator sequences, and there are two types of termination involved in prokaryotes. Rho dependent, Rho is a protein molecule, Rho dependent molecule, the second figure here you can see, I will show you again, Rho independent and Rho dependent type of chain termination events. So Rho dependent and independent are associated with termination of transcription, termination of mRNA molecule from the DNA. So first we will see the Rho independent type of chain termination event. You see the blue molecule is DNA, it is a double stranded one, and you see the nature's beauty of the arrangement of nucleotide sequences here. If this nucleotide arrangement was not there on the DNA, then it would have not come on the mRNA, and when it comes on the mRNA, it forms such beautiful secondary structures. This is called as a stem and loop structure. If this loop is not there, then it is called as a hairpin structure. Okay, so Rho dependent type of chain termination, it's called as the type 1 type of terminator. It is consisting of a DNA sequence which is copied as a mRNA containing inverted GC rich region. Inverted means what? Just focus here on the strand, see the cursor, adenine, guanine, 3 cytosines, guanine, cytosine. Now if you read it reverse, how does it go? How does it go? Guanine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, 3 cytosines, and A and G. So now see here, this A, G, C, C, G, C, here A, G, C, C, G, C. Then you have a green region CUA, AA, UGA, CUA, AA, UGA. If this straight molecule is bent like this, suddenly these two yellow regions find complementary sequences. This C binds with this G, this 3 C's bind with this 3 G's, CU binds with AG, and you have a stem and loop like structure. This stem and loop or the hairpin like structure is responsible for termination, as you saw in the chain termination event in the animation. Okay, so this is type 1 terminator event, which consists of inverted GC rich repeats, that is about 20 base pair upstream of a transcription. Non-complementary region forms the loop and complementary regions form the stem. It is on the same one single RNA molecule folding within itself. So this RNA polymerase transcribes the terminator sequence, which is a part of the initial RNA coding sequence on the gene. So this Rho independent type of chain termination sequence or the figure can be seen like this. Suddenly the mRNA gets converted into stem and loop or a hairpin like structure, and that is responsible for removal of RNA polymerase from the DNA. Because of the inverted repeat arrangement, it is also called as a two-fold symmetry, the RNA forms a hairpin loop causing RNA polymerase to slow down the catalysis of synthesis and dissociate. The string of U nucleotides downstream of the hairpin destabilizes the DNA RNA hybrid. This is the DNA RNA temporary hybrid, and this releases the mRNA transcript and the RNA polymerase. The second type is called as the Rho dependent type of chain termination event. So having understood Rho independent, this is Rho dependent. There is a Rho molecule. Rho molecule is a type, this is type 2 type of terminator. These are cytosine rich and guanine poor sequences. There are no hairpin loop structures formed here, and these require a protein called as Rho factor, this green molecule Rho factor. So see, now as I talk, you see the pictures here. Rho binds to the cytosine rich terminator sequence in the RNA transcript here first. The first figure is normal transcription going on. In the second figure you can see this Rho protein binds to the cytosine rich region in the RNA transcript. This is RNA, and where it binds there is CCCC region, there it forms. It is also called as the Rho attachment site. Now what happens, this RNA polymerase in purple is moving at 30 to 50 nucleotides per speed. This also is moving along the RNA to catch up with the RNA polymerase. Think here, if this row touches the, it's like a kho game of kho. If you touch the player, he's out. So here row, if it touches the RNA polymerase, that will get dissociated. That is how the enzyme function is all about. Now this doesn't take place. Why? Because as this is moving 30 to 50 nucleotides per second, this also is moving at the same speed. So if you have two vehicles moving at the same speed, you find that the passengers, they can talk, means it's just stationary, looks stationary. So there is nothing much happening. But what happens is that a very interesting thing happens when this polymerase reaches the terminator region. There are some GC regions which slows down the RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase at the terminator sequence, the speed slows down, not 30 to 50, but it around 5 to 10 bases. And this is moving at 30 to 50 and suddenly it catches up. So as row catches up the RNA polymerase, suddenly all dissociate. At that point, there may be a hairpin loop, but that is depends upon the species and type of organism. Different organisms, different microorganisms, they have different types of chain termination event. So this acts as a helicase. That is row, it acts as a helicase, revolves and moves ahead. Not actually helicase, but acts as a helicase. Revolvingly, it moves around the single strand of mRNA, and it destabilizes the RNA DNA hybrid at the region, thereby terminating the sequence. Here you can see in more detail, the DNA itself is responsible for that row recognition region, the C-rich site. Remember one thing, from where has this mRNA been synthesized? It has been synthesized from the DNA itself, and the DNA itself, it contains a region which will allow the binding of row. This row attachment site, it's called the RUT site, R-U-T, RUT site, the row utilization point. Okay, row utilization, RUT, it is defined as a row dependent termination event. This RUT site is a row recognition site in RNA, and that was synthesized from the row recognition site from the DNA. So it binds, as you can see here, see the cursor, movement of the cursor, this row binds to the RUT site and it moves along. As it moves along, it catches up with the RNA polymerase, and row terminates the transcription in response to a specific DNA signal which is there. This is called as the terminator region, which slows down the movement of RNA polymerase. So these are called as row dependent type of terminators, and this is the row dependent chain termination event. So comparatively, if you see the mechanisms, this is row independent, which is purely dependent upon a hairpin loop structure. This hairpin loop structure destabilizes the attachment of DNA and RNA, and the RNA polymerase all are released. Whereas in row dependent type of chain termination event, the row molecule, it catches up with the moving RNA polymerase and destabilizes the structure. So these are the two types of chain termination events leading to the dissociation of termination of synthesis of mRNA molecule. So this is all about the prokaryotic transcription, initiation, elongation and termination. In our next lecture, we will be seeing what happens with this mRNA. This mRNA is formed now. This is ready for protein synthesis. This will allow ribosomes to attach on it. Ribosomes will come, tRNAs will come, they will attach and start reading the mRNA molecule. It's very interesting. But before ending here, I would like to show the whole process in animation. It's beautifully explained. Have a look at this animation, and then we will move on to our next lecture, which will be structure of ribosomes. So once again, let us summarize the whole process in the form of animation. As I said, the process of formation of mRNA is called as transcription, and it is divided into three stages: initiation, elongation and termination. Initiation takes place by attachment of this RNA polymerase at the site called as promoter, that is initiation. The length of the DNA which is synthesized till the termination point reaches is called as a gene, basically. That is the gene, and one gene, one mRNA is synthesized, you should remember that. So this is the region for elongation, or the transcribed region, which gives rise to a reading frame on the mRNA. And there is a termination region which is responsible for termination of the process. So the whole process starts with the capacity of RNA polymerase along with the sigma factor to bind at the site of promoter. It binds at the site of promoter. There are consensus regions 35 and 10 base pair, the Tata region, and there is an open promoter complex formation. With the formation of open promoter complex, the RNA polymerase, as you can see here, it has a cylindrical hollow. It is a cylindrical hollow space containing molecule. From one end there is DNA, and other the exit there is DNA. At the exit end and the opening end, there are helicase activities continuously going on. At this point there is opening of the DNA strand, at the end there is closing of the DNA strand, and continuous addition of nucleoside triphosphates, nucleotide triphosphates takes place, which themselves they serve as energy. This is very important to be noted, and at this point the complementary bases which are added by the RNA polymerase, you should understand that it has the capacity to add uracil molecule wherever there is adenine, that is instead of thymine uracil will be added. And secondly, these are recognizing those molecules which contain hydroxyl group only, that is ribonucleotides triphosphate molecules which contain hydroxyl group at the 3' end, and this inorganic phosphate is removed. So each and every nucleotide triphosphate is a energy rich molecule which suffices the need for energy in this reaction. All the nucleotides, they themselves are energy sources here, and as it reaches the termination site, we have already seen that there is a chain termination event taking place by two mechanisms, that is the row dependent type and row independent type of chain termination. And this is how the whole mechanism of transcription takes place. Transcription is a major intermediary process in protein synthesis. You should remember this. So next, what happens with this chain? If you see what happens with this chain of mRNA, the fate is to read it first, to decode the messages present in the form of codon. We have already seen the characteristic features of genetic code. Genetic code is the arrangement of nucleotides. These nucleotides, will be read in triplets, and this will be the site for assembly of ribosomes. Ribosome will be the site of assembly for tRNAs. tRNAs will bring amino acids, and a beautiful polypeptide chain will be formed. This polypeptide chain will undergo folding, and that forms a functional protein. If this protein has a catalytic function, then that will become a enzyme. So all these things we will see in our subsequent lectures. Be in touch, follow the lectures. Gradually you will understand the whole process. Gradually you will become a graduate in science. Hope you are enjoying it as much as you do. Thank you. See you in the next lecture. Goodbye.